Welcome to Parlay. Moke here. Thank you for being here. They've hidden us from ourselves. They've hidden you from yourself. They've hidden me from myself. See, we live life looking at our outside world, going to work every day. And very few people can find meaning in this life. It's no wonder. They've taken philosophy out of high school, out of middle school, primary school, elementary, whatever you want to call it, primary, secondary school. A lot of high schools and schools in Europe still have that. But in America here, it's not very common. But it's by design. They've hidden you from yourself for a good reason. It's very Machiavellian. Machiavelli called it 600 years ago in Letters to the Prince, where the most dangerous person was one who didn't need validation, who didn't need titles. And this was dangerous because they couldn't manipulate. They wouldn't be able to manipulate you. See, but if they hide you from yourself, they can manipulate you. Absolutely. And it's terrible that it's become this widespread in our society. We go to work, we go to our 9 to 5s, they have this whole life designed around us. Like if I own my house here, I have to provide it with electricity, I have to provide it with gas, I have to provide it with water to facilitate a synthetic environment. One that keeps it warm in the wintertime and cold in the summertime, moderate temperature. But that requires money. And I have to buy a car to go to work. And I go to work to pay for my house and my life. So what is the meaning of all that? I saw a video today where a man broke down and he was yelling to God, why? Why? I've been working all my life. And perhaps he found out he had a terminal disease, right? And he didn't give himself a chance to actually live life, right? To actually discover himself. But he worked and he worked hard. And what does he have? To try to strive for the next paycheck, just to be broke by Saturday or Sunday, right? See, in keeping you from yourself, you're not going to be able to self-actualize. And without self-actualization, you're going to look for validation from external sources like your employer. Go to college for a title. And one of the reasons why they took philosophy out of school, I believe, is to inhibit critical thinking. It was only until I went to college that I was able to have an elective. Some electives were philosophy, other electives were Psych 1401 or whatever the heck the identifier was. But anyway, self-actualization, having a relationship with yourself, doing your shadow work, all requires you to introspect and find yourself. Excuse, my dogs are breathing heavy. It allows you to introspect. It allows you to look at yourself and do your shadow work. See, your shadow doesn't care whether or not you live a lie or you live in truth. It just is. But it's when you look at your shadow and you're able to understand or get a better understanding of yourself. And it's at that point where Carl Jung describes individuation. Individuation being the process of you understanding yourself better, you separating yourself from the reality that you saw before, the reality that they told you was, and you actually discover yourself. You discover your own reality, right? Marcus Aurelius said, know everything for which everything comes from. And a lot of people say that's the universe, right? You're not going to know everything in the universe. But what you can know is everything about you. And if you know everything about you, you can live your own life. You can chase your own goals, right? How many people chase their own goals? How many people have thoughts and expressions coming from themselves? But a lot of people, they just reflect what others say. They reflect what others want. Oh, I want a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Oh yeah, I want one too, right? See, at some point in our lives, and myself too, was very much like that. I echoed the sentiments of other people because that's what I thought, brought fulfillment. I just wanted to be accepted in social circles. I wanted people to like me. But you see, I was missing one thing. I didn't like myself. Why? Because I didn't understand myself. I didn't know myself. In my half a century of being on this earth, I've only started doing that when I was in my late 30s. I started discovering myself, but it was a long process of doing that. And I hope that younger people can start doing this. And I think Generation Z is going to be doing this. I think they're doing this in a large way. And people are saying, well, they're lazy. They don't want to do anything, right? But it's that point of individuation that people discover themselves. It's at that point of individuation where a lot of times the narratives that you've been fed before you discover are a lie. It's just a bold lie. And then you become pretty unmotivated because you're just discovering your new world now and your new understanding of it. So what you need to do is lean into that. You need to lean into that, and you need to go through the emotions. You need to go through the feelings. You need to go through the rationalizations of that individuation point where, yeah, you might lose friends because friends might say, you got weird on me. There's something about you that I can't put my finger on it, but you're weird. You're weird, right? And it's no longer you're trying to be cool, right? You're not trying to fit in with anything or anyone or any social circle because, well, you discovered if it doesn't have the depth and meaning, it's all bullcrap anyway, so why even try? And you start really having a moment of clarity. You'll have a moment of clarity. And then you find purpose in your life. You find a meaning to wake up, a reason to wake up, and meaning in your life, a deeper sense of meaning in your life. And it's at that point where Niccolo Machiavelli said, you become dangerous because you're self-actualized. You don't need the validation. You don't need the title. You don't need the adoration of other people, the recognition. You just need yourself. And you become powerful. That brings power. That brings so much power. When you have yourself, when you're self-actualized, and you have a deeper sense of meaning. And other people start respecting you. The right people start respecting you because they see confidence in you. They see that you just exude positivity because you no longer care, right? You no longer care about what other people think. And that's a powerful thing. And when they object, they have rebuke towards you in certain things. For some reason, you keep on going. And that really angers them deep down inside because they don't have the power over you. But they don't realize they don't have power over themselves because they wouldn't do that if they had power over themselves. They wouldn't need that power over you. You see? It's a very interesting world when you understand that and you realize that your life is determined by you and how you live it. Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, it's how you deal with it. Right? That's the crux. How you deal with what happens to you in life. Freedom of mind. When you're mentally free. It's not security. So don't get me wrong. Freedom has nothing to do with security. And often a lot of people associate with freedom with security. And in the end, you get neither. And somebody says, I will give you safety, right? Safety, right? That's the word, safety, not security, but same thing. Safety, I'll give you safety. But you won't get neither freedom nor safety. You'll get safety because you'll be free to do and walk wherever you want to without anybody threatening you, threatening to take that away from you. And with that, guys, I'll leave you. Peace.